Hey, everybody, how's it going? Today with me, as always, I have my lovely co-host, Mina.
Hello, my beautiful hauntlings. How are you today?
Filia cannot be with us. She had other obligations that prevented her from being here, but
And
she will be listening, I'm assuming. But our guest today is Miss Creepyth.
Good afternoon.
oh, I need to mute my mic. I mean my stream.
Yeah, I forgot to mute mine too because there wasn't any music, and I'm just like, oh, my stream must be muted, and then it wasn't. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
loud.
I'm still working on getting the music done, but you guys can we're gonna go ahead and start this. Um,
Yes, Fearsome Raven gets paid. I pay him in love and affection.
um,
And also torment and bullying. It's fun. It's all good. Emotional support and abuse. It's okay. But as I said, with me we got Miss Creepyth. How are you doing?
I am well, and yourself?
Oh, not bad. For the people who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself and tell them what your channel's about a little bit?
In this realm, I am known as Miss Creepyth, as many of you may know already. My channel consists of stories that I have collected throughout the ages and wish to share with the world. Stories from demonic possessions to strange occult findings to potentially true stories. I'm still expanding my horizons in the stories that I find, and I hope to continue to grow as not only a channel, but as a storyteller. Being in this realm for not very long, it has been quite difficult to adjust.
hi, Pimp Demon. Okay, so
I just put Miss Creepyth's YouTube channel link into the chat. So if you guys haven't checked her out, please do it. Please go do so and give her a subscribe and all that good jazz. You know what to
yeah,
do.
she needs subscribers, guys.
She is 11 from 100. We can get her that 100 tonight.
And let me
That would be pleasant.
that would be, and then she can get her personalized URL from YouTube.
Ah, what a milestone indeed.
The first 100 is really a big milestone. Um, I think after that is 500 is the next big one. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
us just celebrate like 300, 400, you know. It's like,
Of course. It's always the smaller steps.
yeah. So, what brought you to the horror community?
That is a bit of a long story. It started when I was a child. Um, I was in my early middle school years, and we were doing a section on mythology in one of my classes, and the topic of cryptids came up, and we were discussing presentations for cryptids or myths, and I decided to go with the Mothman for my cryptid of choice. And I was researching stories and any information that I could get on the Mothman, and it led me to a creepypasta story on the Mothman,
Mm-hmm.
which led me down a little bit of a rabbit hole. And I did not end up working on the project. Instead, I procrastinated with Mr. Creepypasta's stories.
A lot of people get
I
stuck there.
did end up getting the project done, and it was a bit of a close one, but ever since then, I was interested and hooked.
Cool. That's a different way than a lot of people come into the community. That's cool. I like that.
It was mostly by accident.
That's awesome. I'm poking him. He's not talking. Virtual
Sorry,
pokes.
I'm doing something because I am hoping that I did not forget to do something for someone.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go through and see who we've got here. We've got As the Raven Dreams, who is rarely with us, and so it's very happy to see him today.
Hello, Raven.
Last me forgot about it. Trying to figure out just the burb man.
The bird man. We've got
And my internet keeps dropping.
Yeah,
Because it's being
that's
dick.
weird. That is so weird.
No,
Mhm.
it's because I'm in the basement and apparently my signal keeps dropping every now and again. If it happens again, I'm just gonna hook up to my freaking 5G mobile hotspot and for the rest of the duration.
Oh, okay.
Fair.
We've got the sleeping Windigo. Speaking of cryptids.
What's it?
Wendigos are very interesting cryptids.
We've also got Pimp Demon. I'm wondering if I know you from somewhere else. Just wondering.
I'm not sure what you mean.
I don't know. I might know Pimp Demon from somewhere else. I'm not sure. And we've got, well, is that it? Looks like that's it. Of course, PA, me, and Miss Creepyth. And why is that looking like that? Oh, no.
So, are you working on anything right now for your channel?
Unfortunately, no. I've been suffering from a lack of inspiration lately.
Mm-mm.
Just go down to the basement and torture some souls. You know,
Unfortunately,
it always motivates me.
I have not been able to find a willing subject to tell me a good enough story. All the other ones I've had to punish for not entertaining me.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
that tends to be the case.
Well, there are times when the muses just don't speak to anybody, and then there are times when the muses can't shut up.
I know this all too well.
And we have to buy with them what they do.
Mm.
Um,
Although, I suppose I do need to finish some stories by Brian A. Young. Fantastic author. I've narrated some of his stories on my channel already.
cool. And let's see here. Here comes.
Well, what stories on your channel that did you do from him?
Brian Young is the author of the I Investigate Strange Cases series. The first story in this series revolved around a missing persons case. It ultimately led him to an abandoned barn where he found this otherworldly being. It was a woman, a very elongated, demonically affiliated woman who had taken the missing person in question. Unfortunately, he was unable to do anything about it. But ever since then, he was assigned to the cases that would be considered strange and unusual.
Ooh.
My favorite one so far that I've read by him would probably have to be Hammerhead. I haven't finished that one yet, but I plan to.
Cool. That reminds me of
Nice.
the infested city cases? I think that's what it is. Um, from Mr. Creepypasta. And Pimp
Which
Demon,
series was this?
I think it was the infected city or infected town cases.
Ah, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, those were good. If you sit down and listen to all of them, I think it's like 3.5 hours or something like that. But yeah, it was really good.
Worth every second.
Mm-hmm. Pimp Demon Philia is not actually with us. This is Mia. Philia has a more raspier voice than I do. And I will admit that very, very willingly.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. We are missing people today. Um,
So I know you don't have that many videos on your channel right now. But out of all the ones you did, do you have a favorite one or the one that stuck out? The one that stuck out to you most?
Yes, and this one is going to come out as a shout out. I'm actually going to give this shout out to Wellhay Productions. There was a Christmas story that I had asked him to do some lines for. It was called, oh goodness, I forget the name of the story. One moment and I'll find it.
I want to break into our story.
Yeah.
It was called The Perfectly Behaved Boy.
Oh.
I asked him to read the lines of a stranger who had entered this family's house upon hearing the wish of a young boy who had never asked for anything in his life. Unfortunately, the wish ended up turning out to be very, let's say, unsatisfactory. But it ultimately turned out to be a fantastic collaboration, and I knew I would not be disappointed to ask him to read the lines for it.
That's cool.
Nice.
Murphy does a fantastic job with lines. He doesn't do creepypasta stories anymore, but he will still do lines if he is asked.
That's awesome.
Catch up with my typing, please. I was trying to type and say that Philia's family made plans, not realizing that she would be late for us if she did them. But apparently I typed too fast. um, have you ever thought about writing your own stories?
I actually have. I just haven't gotten around to getting it proofread and finalized yet. Mainly because I'm and you did not hear this from me. I'm fairly shy about this particular story. It's the first one I've ever written, and it's an idea that I've had for a long time. And I just haven't gotten the chance to get it edited and finalized yet.
Cool. Pimp Demon, you are not stupid. Nobody is stupid here. We are all have our own experiences, and we all have our own intelligence that gives us different experiences and different ways of looking at things.
Indeed.
I will not call anyone stupid here, and there are, despite what I've heard from some people, there are no stupid questions.
Only stupid answers.
But if you play stupid games, you'll get stupid prizes.
And if anybody else
Yep.
calls,
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I will say, if anyone calls anyone else here stupid, In a few seconds, you'll be having your tongue removed.
Whoa,
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time.
whoa. um, he gets me. He just knows what button to push to knock me down. I swear. Um, you say you started with mythology and the
Yes.
cryptids. Um, which form of mythology do you enjoy the most?
Greek and Roman were my two favorites to start out with. Greek is still a very much favorite for me, but I've been looking more into Norse mythology lately as well.
I was first introduced to the Greek and the Roman, and of course the Norse. Um, but uh, for the story that I just finished writing, well, I just finished. I'm working on the video. It was supposed to be out on St. Patrick's Day, which I hope you all had a great St. Patrick's Day. Um, but I had to get into some of the Irish mythology and the stories about
Ah,
the banshees and the Coach de Bar and Caven. So and when I put the story together originally, I went over and I was just perusing through the free image places, and I saw they've got a lot of banshees here. I put in banshee, I get 3 or 4 pages. I put in headless horseman or headless coachman, I get pages. I put in death coach, I get pages. No problem. I'm good, right?
yes.
I go to put the video together. All those pages are gone.
That's strange.
So I have had to every image that I was like, I'll use that one, I'll use that one, but I'm not going to get it right now because I'm not ready for it. I should have gotten them because I have had to change images. Um, so you guys are going to have to excuse my poor editing ability with images. I'm not an artist, guys.
Nonsense, nonsense.
Um, I
As we stated before, we will not have any self-deprecation here.
I I tried to make some of the windows look darker, that so it would look more like light nighttime because the only pictures I could find with cold iron windows were in daytime. Um, so it has to do with the story. I needed certain things. I found the cutest little girl, little strawberry blonde girl to do for that, but there was a whole string of pictures with her, but there's only two that I could use because of the background. And I'm just like, the artist, she's a or he is it's Demetrius is the first name. They're Russian, and she's just the cutest little girl, and I know she had to have. I really feel like this is a family member because she's got a long collection of pictures of this child, and she's the cutest little strawberry blonde, curly headed, smiling beauty. I mean,
That's nice.
and yeah, I was really looking for something. I don't know how many of you guys have watched Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
I have not.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People came out in 19, I want to say 59. It might have been 69. It was before James Bond um started using Sean Connery because Sean Connery was in it. It's the only movie he has ever sang on a full song. And I don't know what's going on with Pretzel. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Um, but that's my go-to St. Patrick's Day story. And yeah, it's a kids Disney movie. It's scary as shit. It scared me to death. It's the first movie I ever saw in a theater, which, given that I was probably 7 or 8 years old, that puts it around 1979, 1978, which is at least 10 years after it came out. So I don't know why it was in the theater. But I got a new sundress to go to the movies in and all this other stuff. And then
Oh, wonderful.
they showed the puka, and that was scary because they used a wild horse that was rearing and you know basically attacking the girl.
Oh,
And
no.
then later on, the banshee comes for her soul, and you see the coach de bar come down from the sky and swirl around to take her soul with it to the afterworld. And her father is outside with King Brian of the leprechauns, and he's begging, please don't take my Katie, please don't take my Katie. And he's like, I don't have a choice, you know. Her once the coach is called, the coach cannot be sent back. You know, again, Keaton takes some has to take somebody when he comes, and Darby offers his soul in place of his daughter's, and he ends up getting into the coach de bar. Um, I'm saying all these words right now because I've been saying them so many times. And so, and I'm trying to find pictures of the coach de bar and Canaan, which is a Dullahan, which means he's a headless person. It actually translates directly to headless horseman.
Yes, I've heard of this story. One of my favorites. It's a
Which,
classic, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
it is. And it's something that you would think you would find pictures of. Yeah?
Being as
Yeah,
popular as it
you
is,
think.
but you can't really find pictures of the headless horseman without his pumpkin head.
No, no. And I don't want a pumpkin head. Glencanan sits on the according to the legend, he sits on the death coach, which is the coach de bar. He sits on the death coach and he has his head sitting next to him. It's a scary scene. It really is. It scared me as a child. It still gives me the willies. But
I imagine so.
this is what we talk about with, when did you get into horror? Well, that was the first movie I saw in a theater, and technically, if you want to think about it, it's a horror movie. I mean, that's not all it is, but it's a horror movie because it deals with these things that are horrible. I mean, they're scary.
My first experience with an actual horror movie was actually when I was 9. I saw Before You Die, You See the Ring.
Mm. Yep.
It was me and my youngest sister. We were dying of curiosity. And my mother ultimately decided, you know what? If you really want to know. So she just handed us the case and basically told us, "Don't say I didn't warn you." She and I were instantly intrigued. It did not deter us from pursuing further horrors.
Well, that's good. Uh,
I remember my first horror movie was freaking Children of the Corn, and I live around. I used to live completely surrounded by cornfields. So, as like a 6-year-old kid watching a movie about killer children in a cornfield was not the greatest idea, but didn't stop me from going back for more.
Oh, I'm sure.
but it goes into
Um,
those horrors are part of our mythology, part of our history.
mhm.
Pimp Demon says he likes Norse mainly. Um, and Norway is a beautiful country. I've got a friend who, well, friend, I call him a friend. We talk every once in a while. Radical, the Unhallowed Night, and that's his channel here on YouTube. And he's in the Netherlands, Oh, I can't wait.
Let's see how my crusade's going.
Do you see what Musi said? Hi, bye. Sorry, I have to watch later. Very intrigued. Wait till you guys hear about my very first horror film. I can't wait to hear about it. Um,
That does sound
Oh,
exciting.
hey, Musi, how you doing?
Musi is this is her birthday month. I don't know
Oh,
if
is it?
you
Happy
guys know that.
birthday, Musi.
She was born like
What up, sexy Dexy?
March 3rd, and all month she's been putting out birthday stuff. So
That's
check it out. It's
awesome.
really cool. Hey
That's
Dexter.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Hello, Dexter.
Just check out Musi's channel. She's awesome.
But I hear I've gotten more into Norse as I've gotten older. My husband loves the movie The 13th Warrior, and that deals with a lot of the
Ooh.
Norse mythology. Um, Even if you don't think it does, it does. No, I don't need. I'm already on the air. Quit going off. My alarm clock.
Another thing that interests me is Native American
Oh yes,
mythos.
that's where you get to the Windigos
The
and the
Wendigos, yes.
skin walkers
Skinwalkers. The
and
Skinwalkers always have interested and terrified me.
there's other characters that are the same thing, but they're called different. They've got some different characteristics. That's the word I wanted. Um, PA when he writes, 95% of the time you can find some link to some sort of mythology in every one of his
Mm.
stories. It's you know,
Oh, I'll give you guys a spoiler later on after we're not on air. But I'm writing a
Mhm.
story, and there's going to be a link to the mythology. And it's going to be another one where you're never going to see it coming, and it's going to be right at the end. You're going to be like, "What the? How? Why did that work so well?"
Dexter has taken over for Ray. All month she's been putting out
Dexter,
Mina 31922.
Dexter, I will shove my foot in your ass and break it off, boy.
But I think the mythology it kind of gets us all because they do bring in some of the yeah, what was the one? Spearfinger. It's
I don't
a,
believe I'm familiar with that one.
she's an old woman. She's got a spear for one of her little fingers instead of a real finger, and she can change her form and what she looks like and everything. And she'll try to, if somebody gets lost in the woods, she will try to get them to come to her house so that she can eat their liver.
Ah, specifically the liver.
Yes, specifically the liver. And of course,
Not really in my taste.
they never come back, but you know, she loves liver for some reason. I don't, you know, the red man. Um, they brought the little red men over from Ireland into the Appalachians. So that's another.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Her voice too. What are you saying? Her voice
Someone
too.
just
What are you
someone just
saying,
asked
Musi?
me to give them uh, someone just asked me to give them a tutorial on how to know if you're dealing with a bot.
Well, usually when we see bots in our chat, it's like three letters, a dot, and then two or three letters afterwards, and we know immediately that that's a bot.
No, she's
And
talking about
Yes.
like the growing epidemic on freaking Instagram where it's just like,
Oh,
hey, I am can you help me? What's up? I am problem right now. I need to send you a code to your phone number. Spoiler
don't do
alert,
it.
guys.
Don't do it.
Anybody there's never a reason anyone for any reason will ever need your email or your phone number to get back into their account.
Yes. Spearfinger can change her voice and she can confuse you. Um the closer she gets, the further she sounds away, if I remember right. Um, but the Native Americans have, and different tribes have different stories. It's like the Windigo is basically Algonquin, which is in the Middle West, North Middle West type of area. So it goes into Canada and the Great Lakes areas. Skinwalkers are basically Navajo, so that's basically the Southwest. But given the way our world is now, a lot of these creatures, myths, are spreading to everybody. And we're learning about them from different places. And I love that. But it is kind of scary because you never know what you're going to run into.
Yes.
Look at
One
this.
thing that I've learned to do as I'm going along, listening and finding more stories, one thing I really like are rituals.
Mm.
Ritual classes are very interesting because as you're reading, you kind of think about, can I do this without dying? And unfortunately, with most of them, there's still the chance of death.
Mhm.
But I have found a couple where the chance is minimized. And it's always intrigued me, and it's always made me kind of want to try them. But at the same time, if something bad were to happen, and with my luck it may, it's kind of deterred me from that. But it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, it is. I don't think I've done a ritual on my channel yet. I'm
I have
still.
done one so far, Blind Man's Bluff.
Mm,
Very interesting ritual, honestly.
I've been threatening to do Dame Saturday's How to Call an Angel um on my channel. I may need to ask her again on that because I don't know if she's put that back up on her new channel yet. YouTube is screwing us all right now. They did an update.
YouTube like it's like bending you over the coals.
They did an update in the last 2
And
weeks and turned on autoplay on everybody. Who uses that? I mean, if you've got a playlist, it
what
automatically
autoplay?
plays. But if you're just watching a single video, what do you need autoplay for?
Usually,
It's useless.
I personally use autoplay for when I'm on a long drive. I'll just turn autoplay on, and I'll just drive, and whatever plays after the original video that I wanted to hear plays.
And yes, Dexter,
There-
I've done several creator stories. Every time it comes up, I do it. Every time. So it's
Sorry,
dun, 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 dun.
sorry. I
He's playing with viruses.
I'm crusading right now. No,
They
I'm crusading right now, and I've almost done what I want. I've almost got done what I want to do done. Yes.
but
I win. Checkmate, bitches. Hey, Azzy. Hey, Azzy.
Hmm.
Or Miss Creepyth.
I was going
You're
to
at
say, I don't
100.
know who you're
I
speaking.
win.
Ah, is that so?
You're at 100. You're at
Well,
100.
thank you all.
That's why I've been so quiet. I've been messaging everybody I know to get you to 100.
Well, thank you very much.
now you'll get an email and you'll be able to go in and get your custom URL.
Yeah,
No,
so
I did not answer
that's why I've been
that
so
way,
quiet. I was on
Dexter.
a crusade to get you to 100. Oh,
No, Dexter, that is not what I did.
what did Dexter say?
Are your text answers in the
What did Dexter say now?
survey just fuck you, fuck you? No, that wasn't.
No, but they should. They,
I
they
gave
should
them
be, though.
honest answers.
They should
told,
be.
yeah, I told them what they should not do and should be doing, and that's probably why I'm so little. Um,
What one of my friends did a review, did like a survey for work, right? And he didn't realize it wasn't it wasn't anonymous. And he said,
Oh,
"It is my
dear.
opinion that said person would be out of their depth in a parking lot puddle in regards to them doing their job. And I died. I'm like, that is the greatest thing you could have said. He's like, but then it wasn't anonymous. I'm like, I don't care. That's gold.
Oh my gosh.
That's very good.
Hi, Furberries.
Oh, what's up, bro?
Yeah, I also read somebody said that they lost 1,500 subscribers last night. So you need to go check your subscriber
Oh,
list,
goodness.
guys. Make sure you still got your subscribers up.
How in the world did that happen?
I don't know. A Dragar, yes, the dark dwarfs. Drugars are really cool.
Because
Hmm? I think we lost
because
him.
our overlord and Sue, I'm not gonna say her name. We're gonna call her and Sue for reasons. Has I guess decreed that all inactive accounts must be purged, whether you're inactive or not.
Apparently. Yes, Spooky Boo, and welcome, Spooky Boo. That just blew me away.
Hey, spooky.
So yeah, check and make sure you still have your subscribers to the people you want to subscribe to. I think I've picked up some people that I don't actually want. They took 400 subs from you in less than 3 months. Wow.
I haven't
I
lost that many subs, but I have lost like I've gotten up as far as high as six. What am I at right now? 628. I've gotten as high as like 635, and then they've just dropped me back down to 624, and I've gotten back up to 628 like 5 times now. Now it's ridiculous.
You've passed me, dude.
YouTube gods, YouTube gods think they can keep me down. I will rise up.
Um yeah, the horror community has problems with hard enough to get subscribers and get our content heard and not yelled at us by, you know, YouTube. I don't know, Spooky. I honestly don't know. I've been doing so many things today. I just haven't had a chance to dig into a lot of it. Um, like I was telling these guys earlier. Um, I've been working on the long-awaited St. Patrick's Day story from last year, trying to get the video going. And I've been doing the video for 3 days, and part of the problem is I can't find the pictures that were there last July and last March. So yeah. Yes, Musy, you would be monetized already. I think a lot of us
Yeah,
would be. I think a
and
lot of us would be.
uh, with all the subs that they jacked from me, I don't want to say that I would be at 1,000, but I would definitely be at 800.
Well, and if that's not bad enough, we've got other people that are, for whatever reasons, they want to troll and they cause problems for all of us, not just the horror community, but all of us. So yeah.
You just, you just need more people like me that troll the trolls.
Oh,
I'm
that's a
like I'm
horrible
like
way
that
to
one
put.
sword in Lord of the Rings. Troll. I'm that one sword in Lord of the Rings. What is it called? Troll's Bane or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It tells you when trolls are close. It
Yeah,
glows blue.
I'm that.
Uh,
That Sting. There's one that's like there was one sword in the Lord of the Rings that was like in one of the Great Wars that was used to just slaughter no, it was goblins. It was like Goblin's Bane. It was used to slaughter just untold amounts of goblins, and if a goblin actually sees that sword, they freak out.
tell that he likes Lord of the Rings, Miss Creepyth?
Lord of the Rings is an interesting
Not at all.
series.
It is. I really enjoy it. I do love it.
I found a bit of a treasure. I've gotten my hands on from a yard sale several years ago. The entire trilogy of Lord of the Rings in one book for a mere 50 cents.
Nice.
Wow.
Yes.
I've got several copies of it. I don't know. I might even have my kids' copies still in the house. um. Okay, so we're jumping around all over the place, and I apologize.
That's how these interviews always are.
This is true.
Uh,
I'm gonna ask, even though she's not
so
here, I'm gonna ask Jellybean's question. um, if you're in the house all alone and you know there's nobody else in the house, there's no animals, there's no other people, the doors are closed, the windows are locked, um, and you hear a fart, do you laugh or are you scared?
That's an interesting question. I think my answer would be more scared than amused. Simply because who
I'd
in the
be
world has entered my home?
I'd be more offended. That ghost comes into my house and farts in my house. How dare they interrupt the sanctity of my house? Disrespectful ghost.
It's an answer I would expect from PA.
Isn't it though?
Call the Ghostbusters on that. Call the Ghostbusters on that sumbitch.
Okay, there is
This is coming from the. I was gonna say this is coming from the person who literally has lived in a haunted house the majority of his life.
this is true. Um, there is her YouTube and her Twitter now. We met at HorrorCon, did we not?
Pardon?
I believe we met at HorrorCon, did we not?
We did. Yes, I
And
was there.
we shared the stage.
I
Very,
believe we did, yes. I
very
remember
fun.
PA Nightmares was there as well.
Yes, he was, and it was very
Indeed,
fun.
I was.
So,
I had one hell of
yeah, you did a good job. You really did. It was a fun time, I think, for everybody. And
agreed.
it for me, it was actually
CCG
like
was
being there. Hmm.
yeah. CCG was there and she did an amazing job.
Yeah.
She most certainly did.
The thing that
So I don't
amazes
know if it's
me most about CCG is a lot of what she will tell you, the stories and the poems and everything, she's memorized them because she has a really hard time seeing. I think in the last 3 years that I've known her, she's lost 30% more of her sight. And
which is just crazy.
it is, but she's at the point now where she can't see a phone screen. She has to have a tablet or a laptop screen. So and she's really really, right up on it to see it. But we love her anyway.
Yeah.
Indeed we do.
We tolerate her.
Speak for
That's
yourself.
that we all know that is my way of telling people I love them. I tolerate you.
Speak for
Yeah.
yourself, fiend.
I do speak for myself, but jokes aside, uh, what would a perfect horror story or movie look like to you?
A perfect horror story or movie? Well, that's a tough one. I'd say something deriving from an old story, of course. Um, some kind of demon or monster taken from an old legend, released from some kind of ancient tomb. But I believe the perfect horror movie would not have an obscene amount of cheesy jump scares
Oh, jump scares are the
and
worst.
competent characters.
Well,
However, I cannot speak for the host body that I am in. She's quite unintelligent. If anybody has seen uh, Azarine Fox on Twitch, anytime she plays horror games, she is the dumb blonde who will walk into a hallway when she hears a noise and scream, "Hello?"
a character of mine do that. She's asleep in bed and she wakes up and she hears her name being called from the hallway and she's like, "Who's there?"
Yes. Unfortunately, the habit cannot be kicked.
uh, what is your greatest phobia?
Hmm. Either the fear of being forgotten, which is a little bit more complex, or the fear of spiders. I cannot stand the eight-legged demons.
My husband calls them eight-legged freaks.
That's what they
That was a
are.
pretty funny movie.
It was a good movie, but he won't watch it because because eight-legged freaks. Um, I saw a picture
That is what
yesterday.
they are.
Somebody had taken their wireless mouse and put the a spider legs and head on it. That's one way to keep your mouse from disappearing.
Mm. Yes. Yes.
Nobody's gonna touch it. Ah.
Not at all. So, is there a type of horror that affects you more than the others?
Psychological, without question.
think that I think that pretty much goes for all of us, honestly.
Whether it be in the form of illusionary dreams, vivid nightmares that feel all too real, only to discover that they're not, or just being trapped in some kind of hypnotic or other stimuli induced mental state of just not quite there,
Mhm.
or having it be demonically induced. It's the sensation of nothing feels real.
Yeah.
It's that etherealness that gives it its captivating beauty.
Well, there's goes to my the one horror movie that still scares the shit out of me after I don't know how many years. I'm not even gonna try to figure that out. Rosemary's Baby. I don't know if you've ever seen Rosemary's Baby, but
I've heard of it.
my mom would not let me see that movie until I was 18. Actually, happy she didn't because it still scares the crap out of me. Um, she it's Mia Farrow. I can't remember who plays Guy, which is her husband in the movie. And then there's a lot of character actors that you know well. You know their faces. You'd probably never even be able to remember their names, but you know their faces when you see them. And there's been several takes on it since then, but that one, especially the scene where things happen and you're not really sure what's going on and what's real and what's not real. And then you go on this journey with her to try to figure out what is happening around her. And then in the end, when she finally looks down on her baby and she's like, his eyes, what did you do to his eyes? What have you done with his eyes? And one of the um one of the people in the room says, he has his father's eyes. You never see the baby. Not
Oh.
once. You never
No.
see the baby. And that just that line in its own self just
There was a movie that I saw that really had me. It the only reason I watched it was because it had Karen Gillan in it.
mm,
It was called Oculus,
that was a
and
good
it was
movie.
about these two siblings,
Mm-hmm.
brother and a sister, who had gone back to the house that they used to live in, that they grew up in,
That their father
and
died
there
in.
was that their father died in. Yes, uh, they and this mirror. There was this mirror that
Mm-hmm.
they believed. Well, she believed at least possessed some demonic quality, and she wanted to prove it. So they set up cameras and lighting, and they had a whole uh, Ghostbusters type setup.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to catch everything, but that there was one scene that to this day still scares me. Uh, at one point, she had picked up an apple. She had set down a light bulb and picked up an apple, and when she bit into the apple, she actually thought she bit into the light bulb,
Mm-hmm.
because as she was bringing her teeth down on it, there was the shattering of glass, and I remember stiffening in my seat.
Mm-hmm. I just did.
The second I heard the sound, I and once she snapped out of the trance, she realized she's still holding the apple, and that was what made me go, "Oh wow." I suppose that was my first introduction to the psychological horror aspect, and it's
Mm-hmm.
ever since it's just been extremely interesting to me.
She
I don't remember anything that's ever stood up to me and made me go, "That's freaky as hell." No, thank you.
yeah, it's
The
because
senses can be.
yeah. Anything that I perceive that could possibly actually happen gets me.
It's interesting. The senses can be easily manipulated,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're
Yeah.
not careful, they can be used against you.
Yes.
But
No,
what I
I
think is most interesting is
didn't
how.
know Oculus 2 is coming out.
Oh, there's another one.
I did not know that. And if I have seen the movie. If I remember it right, her brother wasn't too hip on doing the whole thing. He was
He did not
really
want to be there. No, he was the suspicious one.
mm-hmm.
She
And
was dead set on it.
they kept finding out that the whatever the mirror had done, they were caught with it. And it kept happening over and over. They left that they were outside the house, but they weren't really outside the house. They were still inside the house. The mirror just made them think they were outside the house.
And that's another aspect that made me shiver.
Mm-hmm.
Another good one. I don't remember if you guys remember this movie. It's somewhat old. It's called Ghost Ship.
Yes. I love
That was my
Yes, I
second
remember that
horror
one.
movie. Ah, the
Nice.
gosh, the scene with the maggots. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah.
The scene with the maggots.
Has anybody here seen the movie Come Play?
I think
I have not.
It came out in 2020. It's a story about a lonely and desperate a kid who I think he's like autistic, and he gets a smartphone and tablet, and he starts to play this like storybook, and as it's going on, it's releasing this monster from the book, and I'm like, you know, not freaky, but very interesting premise, and it was very well done. I really liked the movie.
That reminds me of the Babadook.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm.
That's how the
That's an
Babadook
interesting
worked.
movie too.
Oh yeah, it's creepy.
It wasn't big on the jump scares, which I liked. It was very much the intense kind of like slow horror.
Mm-hmm. The slow burn. Somebody was talking.
I like those.
Somebody was talking about Witch, the Witch. You guys know the one I'm talking about, the Witch. Um,
I haven't seen it either.
it's got the goat is apparently a demon or the devil. It's not really clear when you watch the movie, but it's a very slow burn. You don't even realize what's going on until it's already there in front of your face.
I like those.
Hey, Moonlight Falls.
Hello, Moonlight.
Hey,
Nuke the house. I don't know if they'll nuke the house in Oculus 2. It's not really the house that's the problem. It's the mirror.
It's the mirror.
It really, truly is the mirror. And those kids were lucky to get out the first time. Just saying.
Second time they might not be.
They don't know. Because, yeah. The way that I'm not telling how the movie ended, but they don't know. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's good to watch those older horror movies. They always.
I think the older ones are better than the newer ones, in my opinion.
My husband loves the old ones. He doesn't like the new ones.
I think the newer movies have somewhat appropriated horror to the point where it just loses its appeal.
I saw a meme today, and it said something like, me watching horror movies as a kid, and it was the old Scream poster. Me watching horror movies as an adult, and it's the new Scream poster. And I'm going, you don't have much variety there, do you? I mean, think about it.
No, you're right.
Not really a lot of transition there. It's not really something that.
Not really.
you know, when Miss Creepyth said something about having smart protagonists in her perfect horror movie, I was actually watching Halloween, but it was Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
And one of the female leads, she got a I guess the way Rob Zombie wrote it, she was straight up gonna run out the front door, and get away from Michael, and he grabs her by the back of her hair, pulls her back in. I'm like, hey, at least she was smart and tried to nope out.
She did try.
She did try. Didn't work, but she did try. Can anybody hear music right now? Just curious.
I cannot.
Okay. It would be. We won't hear it. The listeners will hear it.
Yeah, there's music.
There is. Okay, I finally got it fixed.
Yep, there is. I unmuted for a second and I heard it.
Okay, good. Hopefully that fixes that for good. Until next week. Or the next time I try to use it.
Right. Until next week.
Um,
Until next week on what technological issues are going to plague us at the beginning of our show.
yeah. And how long is it going to take me to fix it? What would you do if you woke up and discovered you were the only person on the whole planet?
I think I'd find a nice house somewhere in the middle of pretty much nowhere and just live out the rest of my life. There's not much I can do, I suppose.
Cool. That and yeah, that is kind
I was
of.
going to say. Oh, I was going to say before or after I'm done doing my happy dance because I don't have to deal with people anymore.
Well, then you wouldn't have me, and you wouldn't have Philia, and you wouldn't have your girlfriend, and you wouldn't have.
Well, that's why I said before or after the happy dance. That's why I said before or after the happy dance. Because before the happy dance, I'm just going to celebrate. After the happy dance, I'm going to be a little depressed because I realized that all the people that I didn't want to disappear also disappeared.
Agreed.
Are you most likely to die first in a zombie apocalypse?
Yes.
Who would you want to read your eulogy? Shut up. PA.
The lack of hesitation.
Just how fast she answered that. Yeah, it was exactly what it was. How quick you answered. It's like, yes. I'm like, oh, damn.
At least I'm honest.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Who would you want to read your eulogy?
Being in a community of narrators, that is a tough decision.
It could be anyone alive or dead.
Now
I just made it humongous, right?
A little bit, but I think I can narrow it down to 2 people. Simply because I don't like seeing people cry, and I'd want to have them remember me at least a bit fondly. I'd say, for humor purposes, Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He would find
Nice.
some way to make them laugh.
Yes.
Even at an
I think you'll like this. I actually chose Gabriel Iglesias as the person to read mine. Because
yes.
I'm just like there would be mandatory sound effects for him to perform while reading my eulogy just to crack people up.
But I think if we were to go with something a little more on the serious note, I think Midnight Researcher.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
He has a very even voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He does.
There's just the right amount of inflection in his and he has the right intonation. I think he would be good for reading a eulogy.
Cool.
Yeah, he would. Also, more serious note for mine, I would have Bard read mine because he'd have to write one of those badass intros for it.
Good night, Pimp Demon. Hope to see you around more. Hello, Satyr.
Yeah, good night, Pimp Demon.
Who was screamed into
What's up, Noose?
The channel Mimea. Let me see. What's your favorite word?
I believe I've answered this question before, but since then, there's been another word that's caught my attention, and for the life of me, I can't remember it off the top of my head. Oh, goodness. Accosting.
Oh, wow. That's a nice one.
use that word. I use that word to describe any altercation that I have, whether it be in games or in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
If I see someone as just unkind or unsavory, I will say that they are accosting me.
Makes sense. I went out and visited that thing called the real world. The graphics are horrible.
Ugh, that's so tedious.
I actually
And the load times are forever.
tell you. And there's no quick travel.
Mm.
And we have Meridad. I'm gonna murder this. I am so sorry. Ahmadzide.
I believe I remember this person. I believe they are acquainted with Grimm.
Well, I'm sorry I murdered your name. I was trying.
I have a general rule of thumb. If they don't have a name that I can pronounce, I just say hi to them in the chat.
I'm trying to. Actually, PA, you haven't asked your question.
Oh yeah. So, the world has just gotten worse. I blame it on Florida because now alligators and crocodiles can fly. How do you think humanity fares?
Not very well, I believe. Simply because there are going to be fools who are going to try and shoot them out of the air or do something along those lines, and that's going to provoke an attack.
Can you imagine the eggs? I just thought about that.
Yes.
Crocodile
Or there'd
eggs?
be other people.
Eggs?
Look, I'm just saying, there's going to be someone in Florida that's going to try to tame a bunch of them and become the Florida man Santa Claus and try to fly around in a sleigh.
I can see that happening too.
Probably
It's
won't
Florida.
be out of Florida. It's probably going to be out of Louisiana. Just saying.
It'll be somewhere in the south.
Because I know the people down here, and it's like the guy who actually, they still haven't found his body. They found his arm, but they haven't found his body. From our last hurricane, when the crocodile came up into his yard. You know, it's it's one of those things where you just don't do it.
Just because it may look like a friend does not mean it is a friend.
Right.
There's a reason we don't run up and hug bears. Just because it's fluffy and cute doesn't mean it's safe.
Bird brains. Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody and they're like, oh, polar bears are so cute. Polar bears are so sweet. They're so nice. And I'm going, if it's white, it's going to eat you. Because
if it's white, it will bite.
If it's white, it'll bite. Alaska and Canada have these things on the bears. And if it's white, it will bite is the polar bear. And yes, they will.
That does not surprise me in the slightest.
And they're not nice, they're not sweet, they're not no. They're nice to look at from, this side of the monitor. It's like I've
So
always
nice to look at from a very safe distance.
Yeah. It's like I've always loved koala bears. They're so cute and cuddly. As a matter of fact, my favorite hug right now is a koala bear hugging their baby. But in Australia, they call koala bears drop bears. Because koala bears have the habit of throwing poo at you from up in the trees.
It's like orcas are my favorite my favorite animal. Yeah, but I'm in no time in the near future do I plan on getting in the water with one of those massive son of a bitches.
They'll eat
They
you.
are evil.
They will eat you. Okay, I have a question.
They actually generally won't mess with humanity. They'll fuck everything else up.
Nothing in the ocean is safe from an orca.
From the
They don't
chat.
give a fuck,
Speaking
and I
of
love it.
Grim, any new collaborations with him, Miss Creepyth?
I am not sure, honestly. Potentially there is a severe potential for that. The problem is I have not been able to find
Nice.
any good. As far as I'm aware, Grim is a person who does mainly true crimes, and I have not been able to find any good ones lately. T-Stash, definitely, absolutely. I really enjoy working with him. He's a fantastic narrator. He really gets into character with his narrations, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so that was yeah. I love T Stash. He's amazing.
He really is.
Grim does a great job as well. I love true crime. I have never made any secret of that.
I'm gonna need to get Miss Creepyth on the channel one of these days.
Yeah,
I am always open to collaborations.
I may have a voice or two that she'll fit into.
I am always open to collaboration.
If you had a,
So-
this comes from a different perspective. If you had a choice in losing one of your 5 senses, which one would you lose?
My sense of smell.
Okay, that's
That one has the least amount of repercussions.
well. That also takes your sense of taste, because part of taste is smell.
Agreed.
Is there anything you want to ask us?
No, I don't believe so. Any of the questions that I have answered, you've given your sides as well.
I'm gonna make you do it, PA.
What, the outro?
Yeah. Commercial.
Put him on the
You know,
spot like that.
We loved having you
you know,
here.
my yes, this was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
We thank you for stepping in. We know that the last time we tried to do this, you were unavailable because of work. And I'm very happy that you were able to be here today.
Well, work is no longer an issue. Seeing as how I do not have that job anymore.
Oh no.
Yes, unfortunately, I was terminated.
Ugh, that hurts.
Mhm.
And we got you to 100 subscribers. Hopefully that will hold long enough for you to get what you need for your...
I do appreciate that. Thank
She's
you.
at 101, so hopefully it holds.
Yeah.
So if anybody
Nice.
hasn't already checked her out, please check out Miss Creepyth. She's a fantastic narrator.
Let me get... Well, I tried to pin it, but it didn't.
And commercial. And commercial. Well, if you guys ever wanted to do anything on here that doesn't quite fit your channel, you can come contact me as the Raven Dreams, Mina, Filia, Bard, 242 Reads. You know, any one of us that you've heard on here before, you can just come contact us, and we'll get you set up with either a time slot where you can live stream, or you can also upload videos. So that's pretty much this is here for you guys. Raven saw a need in the community for a place where people could just come together and do their own thing without having to worry about it affecting your channel, and that's what this is here for.
And what have you got coming up in the near future, Miss Creepyth?
I plan to finish the I Investigate Strange Cases series, as well as a couple other one-off stories by Brian Young. I also do plan to expand more on the ritual sides of creepypastas. But if anybody has any suggestions, I am more than open to them.
Cool. Very cool. PA, what have you got coming up? I know you were saying you were recording yesterday, so what have you got coming up?
I actually was recording today, but I have a very short video from Raven, as the Raven Dreams, called "How I Met Brian Sampson," and then I also have "Haunted Highway" by Hair Raising Narratives that's coming out. After those two, I'm going to start working on recording some dark web stories for that video, and continue to working on My Infinity Game by Paige Turner. She's a fantastic author.
Yes, she is.
Wonderful.
I have the long-awaited St. Patrick's Day story coming out, Inyan Klina. And then I've got another kind of sad video coming out. It's a memorial video. I've got another one after that coming up too, but I don't know when that will be. I'm still trying to get pictures for it. And it's got to be written too, because I've had trouble writing it because the loss is still very fresh.
Yeah.
And then I've got more stories coming out. So
I look forward to it.
Nice.
the St. Patrick's Day story is 29 minutes long, the video. So it will be
Nice.
hopefully well worth it, although I'm still not happy with a lot of the images. They're what I can get my hands on.
Nice. Yeah.
And unfortunately, we must work with what we can.
Yes, I can't take things out of my
Exactly.
brain and put them on the computer. Doesn't work that way.
Not yet.
Not yet.
All
The
right.
advance in technology.
Yes. So, any of you who
But,
have joined us, remember, once you join the collective, you can leave Nevermore.